There was the whistleblower for the White House security clearance team that said that 25 people who are top officials at the White House were granted security clearance over objections from career government officials who said they didn't deserve the security clearance because they could be compromised.
Right, 100%.
One person who has come out, and it appears is the senior White House official number one, the person who government officials did not want to give the top secret security clearance to, is Jared Kushner.
Right.
He is the son-in-law of Donald Trump. He's married to Ivanka. Apparently, there were security concerns about him, including influence from foreign governments like China, Israel, Mexico, and the United Arab Emirates, as well as the fact that he owns a building called 666 Fifth Avenue. I don't want you, it's no coincidence that 666 is also the devil numbers.
Right, absolutely.
Right, and he owns this building. I believe that. Okay, 666.
I could believe that.
You believe that, right?
I 100% believe that.
Yes, devil numbers.
Devil numbers.
Yes, he owns 666 Fifth Avenue, and he owes $1 billion. That's right, $1 billion on that building.
Oh my God.
Okay, so what does he really own? He owns like a brick.
Right, 100%.
Okay, everybody else owns that building except Jared Kushner.
Yeah, he does not
Okay,
own
so he owns like
anything.
one brick in that building, and maybe he owns like a quarter of an elevator.
Right.
And that's about it. Everything else in the devil building, 666 Fifth Avenue, is owned by somebody else, and nobody can figure out who owns it.
Wow.
So it could be foreign governments, foreign banks, and he's never really disclosed who owns the other parts of this building, and that seemed to be the problem. But Donald Trump doesn't really seem to care because it's all about enriching him and his family.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with actual making America great again.
Yep.
It's making Donald Trump great again.
Absolutely.
If he was ever great to begin with.
The fact that there are Republicans who still don't realize that blows my mind every day, Brad.
Yeah. All right. So meanwhile, it's no surprise that it's come out now that Donald Trump cheats in golf.
Oh, that is not a surprise.
It's not a surprise.
Indeed.
Yes, he is in fact, according to a book by a sports writer by the name of Rick Reilly, and the name of the book is Donald Trump Cheats at Golf in Some Really Ridiculous Ways. Is that the name of the book?
It should be.
It could be the name of the book. I'm not sure. It says, that is the name of the book. Chili Bean says it is the name of the book. He is a world-class cheater at golf.
Of course he is.
Yes. Trump claims he has won 18 golf championships and has reiterated the number multiple times on the campaign trail.
Right.
But according to Rick Reilly, the author of Donald Trump Cheats at Golf in Some Really Ridiculous Ways, when Donald Trump buys a new golf course, he plays the first round by himself and calls that the club championship.
Oh my God.
Yes. Now, Reilly said Trump cheats like a mafia accountant, whether you're watching or not. He cheats whether you like it or not. He kicks the ball out of the rough so many times, the caddies have called him Payless.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
So far, Trump hasn't commented on the book, but a former Sports Illustrated managing editor who played with him said he once justified cheating by saying, "The guys I play with cheat all the time too," which is why Donald Trump likes to lie all day in the White House, because he says, well, everybody else lies, which is not necessarily the case.
I'm so sorry.
He's a world-class cheater and a world-class liar. That is for sure.
Was it that Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus in that picture?
I didn't see the picture. That's the picture.
That's the picture.
Is that him in a suit in the rough at Trump International?
In the background?
Yes. All right. Meanwhile, some sad news out in Allen, Texas. ICE arrested more than 280 people. It is the single largest arresting day for ICE at one workplace raid in the history of the United States.
Oh my God.
ICE raided CVE Technology Group, which is a phone equipment repair business in Texas. It was targeted in January by ICE after receiving multiple tips that the company knowingly hired undocumented workers. The immigration arrests at the workplace are also dramatically on the rise under Donald Trump, particularly in Texas, where they've jumped 4,000% from 2017 to 2018.
Wow.
Of the 519 people arrested in 2018, 356 people were arrested only for working without authorization. So 519 people were arrested in the state of Texas last year in workplace raids. So I mean, the reality of you being undocumented and actually being caught up in a raid is infinitesimally small.
100%.
Right. If you say, okay, 519 people out of, God knows, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people
Right.
undocumented in Texas.
Living in Texas,
Yeah.
right.
But today was the biggest ever in one day. As Donald Trump said, the biggest haul ever. It's the biggest haul ever of undocumented.
That is what he said.
I don't know. I'm paraphrasing.
I feel like that's exactly what he
I'm
would say,
paraphrasing
though.
what he would say.
Like we hit the lotto
Yes.
with the undocumented.
Meanwhile, this is nice. A woman, there was a Payless store that was going out of business in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And 25-year-old Addie Tritt, she went into the Payless store and bought every shoe in the entire store. She bought the store, every shoe in that store that was going out of business. 204
Look at
pairs of shoes
her.
at $1 each, and she bought them and donated them to a shelter that was helping people who were trying to overcome the Nebraska flood. Working with Payless corporate office, she snagged the deal on 204 pairs for just over $100, so she paid 50 cents a shoe.
50 cents a shoe.
The shoes were valued at approximately $6,000, so she could have actually turned around and sold them for a profit.
Made a profit, right.
But what she did instead was she donated them. Now, after considering several different organizations to donate her Payless windfall to, Addie Tritt finally landed on the idea of sending the shoes to Nebraska, where recent epic flooding had destroyed millions of dollars in crops, injured and killed several people.
Yeah.
She partnered with SA Sigma Alpha chapter. Is it Sigma Alpha? Mm-hmm. I thought it's SAE. I guess SAE is a fraternity, I think.
Yeah, they are a chapter of it.
I see.
Not a full fraternity.
Not a full fraternity.
Yeah.
At Fort Hayes. Why do I know names of fraternities?
Super random.
Super random, right? Well, I went to college, so.
Of course.
Right. I went to a college with lots of fraternities. I remember who had the good parties.
Okay.
All right. That was 40 years ago, if you remember when I graduated high school.
But it still worked.
It still works, yeah. So she partnered with SA chapter at Fort Hayes State University, who already had a trip planned that weekend to deliver supplies. So that's very nice.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Oh,
okay. So meanwhile, this was a first. This was a first for the airline industry, for anything.
Okay.
There was a Boeing 737 that left Lithuania and flew to Italy. It's a huge, huge airplane, 189 people.
Right.
And what happened on this plane is they only sold one ticket. Yes, it went to Lithuanian national Skirmantis Stremitis.
Right.
And he had the trip of a lifetime. He went on the entire plane by himself. It was operated by a tour operator by the name of Novaridis, confirmed that they chartered the flight from Bergamo to Vilnius. Vilnius is in Italy.
Right.
For a group of clients that day, but in order to avoid the aircraft coming back empty, the one-way tickets were put up for sale, and in Lithuania, it was from Lithuania to Italy, and only one person bought the ticket. So he said he spent his time wisely. I was provided with a personal pre-flight safety demonstration, and then I just enjoyed the flight by taking selfies and writing. To have silence on the plane was very unusual. I was smiling all day. But I would tell you that if I got on an airplane and I was the only one in the airplane, what would you think? Would you be like, excuse me, miss, can I get off this plane? I would think it's going to crash.
It does feel a little Final Destination.
I would be like, what does everybody else know that I don't know?
Exactly.
Right? Why am I the only one on this plane?
Yeah.
I would totally get off that plane.
I feel like once I got over that hump, though, I would really enjoy myself. I'd be like, let me go up to first class.
I am going to tell you, I would be like, like when they're like, you can't like go bother the pilot and anything,
Right.
because
You would go.
I would go knock on the door. Excuse me. Is there something wrong with this plane? Why am I the only one here? Right? I would totally freak out.
That's amazing.
Yes, Jessica Levy Joeli said she would just run back and forth. Can you imagine? I can imagine Jessica Levy would be like the little kid at Home Alone, running back and forth, when he's left alone
That's exactly what it would
in
be.
the house.
You just couldn't go very far.
Yes.
The plane isn't.
Oh my God, that would totally freak me out.
That's amazing.
Can you imagine if they charged him for having too much luggage? Like overloaded luggage. What do you mean it's over 50 pounds I have to pay? This plane is taking off no matter what. I would freak out.
I do wonder whether they let him upgrade.
Yes.
I
guess you could sit anywhere, right?
I will tell you, I was on a nearly empty flight one time from Beijing, China to Washington, D.C. It was nearly empty. My best friend and I had made friends in the airport with a girl. We were in Comfort Plus, and she was they had upgraded us. and she was just in regular economy. Comfort Plus was empty. She came up to join us, and the flight attendant
Threw her
said,
back?
"Ma'am, can you
Get
please?"
back.
I swear to God.
That's right.
I swear to God. It was empty. It was just me and my best friend in Comfort Plus. We were the only ones there, and they
And you went to your friend, toodaloo.
That's exactly what it was.
All right, so this is kind of a weird story. Local news anchors in Ohio decided to use teen lingo, and it went about how you'd expect it to go if I used teen lingo here on Bradshaw Live. It's testing week in the great state of Ohio, and students across Toledo are rolling up their sleeves to pass a series of final exams before they can graduate high school. So WTOL's morning news team tried to reach their younger audience advertisers and pulled out all the stops by breaking out all that slang. Whoever wrote this did not write it grammatically correct, but I've got it. I've kind of followed
It's
along.
not supposed to be grammatically correct, Brad.
All right. On Thursday, the WTOL newsroom published an online article explaining their awkward pitch for students. The entire sketch consisted of two anchors, a meteorologist and the traffic reporter. Of course, it's always the meteorologist and the traffic reporter, always the buffoons.
Always.
Right? And they include phrases like, "Lit is testing week and it's time to slay all day. Stay woke, be on fleek, get the Gucci breakfast. Say bye." I can't even say this. I don't even know what this means. I know what lit means, but I don't know what stay woke means.
We can go through it.
All right, let's go see them do it and make a fool of themselves instead.
Yeet! Stay woke, be on fleek, and get that Gucci breakfast.
Say bye, Felicia, to that testing stress.
Toledo weather gonna be V-lit. A hundo P.
Now, it's apparent that they did not air this, but it was put up on social media, and they were totally made fun of.
That's you.
Yes.
Do you really not know what all those words mean? Lit, you know.
What? I'm sorry?
Lit.
Yes.
Like it's lit.
Uh-huh.
You know that.
Uh-huh.
One hundo P.
Uh-huh.
You know
Hundo
that.
P.
What's Hondo P?
One hundo P.
Oh, 100.
Yeah, like 100%.
Yeah,
Definitely.
right. I know
One
that.
hundo
Lit,
P.
I know it's like it's hot, it's
Yeah.
cold. Yeah.
We're gonna get turnt.
Turnt, I don't know what that means.
Like turnt, like turn up.
Turn up? Okay.
But it's like turnt.
Okay, what else?
V.
What
Like
is that? I don't know what that means.
I'm V excited. It's
Okay.
short for very.
I don't know. Okay.
What else we got?
Gucci breakfast? That means like
Gucci
big,
is good.
Good, right? Like
have a
some
good
good
but
breakfast.
That's a
like,
weird way to use Gucci.
Yeah. I
but
think
yeah.
like Gucci breakfast would be like, like the buffet at the Four Seasons Hotel,
that's
right? That's the Gucci breakfast,
That's a
right?
hell of a Gucci
That's a hell of a
breakfast.
Gucci
Yeah,
breakfast,
yeah.
right? And by Felicia is like
Yeah,
see ya.
like, bye,
Bye
Felicia,
Felicia,
right.
like with attitude.
You know that,
Yes, I
right,
know that one.
100%.
I just can't say it.
No, you can. I would suggest you don't.
All right. Meanwhile, in China, because this all just happened now, as it's coming, Belgium Kim's going to report.
Yeah.
So Chinese police were mocked for using alleged criminal's childhood photo for a wanted poster. Apparently, in Zhejiang, China's Yunnan province, they apologized for being ridiculed online for using a 17-year-old suspected criminal's childhood photo for a wanted poster because they couldn't find a more recent one. Ji Qinghai, a dangerous alleged criminal who had been successfully avoiding police for a long time, is 17. Come on, that's not the photo they used.
No, it's not.
17-year-old's photo. However, when making the wanted poster, police could only find this adorable preschool. Yes, that was it. They could only find this adorable preschool photo of the chubby cheek perp. Come on, that's the dumbest policeman I've ever met in my entire life. Have you ever seen? Now, Zheng police put out a statement apologizing for the use of the suspect's childhood photos despite him being nearly now an adult. They tried to explain they just couldn't find any recent photos. Now, if you're not sure where this suspect is, I would, what I would suggest is let them go and take some crack police detective investigation work from the Swedish police out in Stockholm, right? And start hanging out naked,
Yes.
right? Start hanging out naked in the saunas. That's usually where you find your perps.
That's where you find them.
That's where you find them,
Just
right?
about
If you
to
watched
say.
yesterday, you know that. Anything new on VAWA?
Yeah, so the Democrats' version passed the House. So with the new gun control laws
Right.
against what the NRA, but what they're saying right now is that there is going to
0%
rework.
chance, a zero.
Of
So what's
passing
so what that?
the
So, okay.
Senate, right.
So what's going to happen is this: VAWA is going to pass. All right. There's nobody on either side that doesn't want it to pass. But what's going to happen is that the House passed it with some very strict gun control laws that the Republicans and the NRA don't want. Now, when it goes to the Senate, is controlled by the Republicans. They're going to pass a similar VAWA legislation without the gun control bill. And then it goes to a conference committee to work out the differences. And that's hopefully where the term politics is the art of compromise will actually happen. And there will be some sort of compromise between everybody, and hopefully it passes in the next few weeks. But it is a start. As far as I can tell right now, unless the world comes to an end, VAWA will ultimately pass. That's what I read everywhere. Okay. Meanwhile, a woman knits stylish suits from 300 plastic grocery bags. Rosa Ferrigno.
What?
Yes, that is Lou Ferrigno's niece. I don't know if that's a fact. You know, if anybody knows who Lou Ferrigno, you know who he was, the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk, right? Yeah.
He's the Hulk, right. I don't think this is the same Hulk's niece, but Rosa Ferrigno's new suit takes recycling to an extreme. She knitted it from more than 300 plastic bags. The 75-year-old woman from Greece in Western New York whittled away the winter knitting a skirt and jacket from flimsy brown bags scissored into thin strips. The finished garment is quite chic, they say, with a tweedy look from a green printing on the brown bags. She says she just did it for fun. Which leads me to the question, Belgium Kim.
Yeah.
Would you ever wear a garbage bag? Let's take a look at this garbage bag dress.
I mean, look at it. I feel like it's pretty tweedy. It doesn't really look like garbage. Like, it doesn't look like grocery bags.
I think the whole dress looks like garbage to me.
I feel like it would be very uncomfortable, like, against your skin.
Can you imagine, I say, Belgium Kim, let's go shopping, and I'm going to buy you a garbage bag.
Yeah.
You would be so mad at me.
I'd be really offended.
You'd be really offended. You're like, Brad, after all this work, this is the gift you want to get me, a garbage bag?
That's true. And you had us feel your shirt before this show started.
It's very nice.
How soft it is.
Yes.
I would be really pissed if you're walking around with a shirt that soft and I'm walking around with garbage bags.
Correct. He's 95 years old.
Yeah.
He's a World War II vet. He took 4 buses to protest racism in New Zealand. John Seto, he's a 94-year-old World War II veteran of the New Zealand Army, and he made a long trip to attend a rally against racism held in the center of Auckland on Sunday. Once he finally arrived to the rally after taking 4 different buses, he walked down the center of the street, helped by a police officer who clutched his right hand, another man who held his left hand. His journey and presence at the rally have become a small symbol of the emotion that is poured forth in New Zealand after a gunman killed more than 50 worshippers at a mosque, at 2 different mosques in Christchurch last week. Seto, he's a World War II veteran, one of 2 soldiers with Japanese heritage to serve in the New Zealand Army during the war.
Wow.
He's originally from Auckland. He was born to a Japanese father and a Scottish mother, and had been recruited during World War II to fight the Japanese, even though that was his own
Japanese
descent.
Oh.
In response to the outpouring of support, Seto said, that's a tragedy in Christchurch. Look what it brought out in the people. It shows the best of humanity, which is very nice.
It's true. I love those images of him, of them holding him.
And finally, there's a new Dr. Seuss book that is coming out. And although Dr. Seuss, his name was Theodore Seuss Geisel.
Yeah,
Geisel.
Yeah.
He died in 1991.
Right.
5 years after I graduated high school.
Yeah,
Belgium
the year
Kim.
I was born, Brad.
Yes, 5 years after I graduated high school. That's when Dr. Seuss died. It's about when I stopped reading Dr. Seuss books. He was releasing a new book from the grave.
What?
Yes. Random House has announced that it is releasing a previously unpublished Dr. Seuss story about an art-loving horse called Horse Museum. The manuscript for the story was found in the author's home in La Jolla, California. This is the second of the author's manuscripts to be published posthumously.
Oh.
The first book, What Pet Should I Get, was published for the first time in 2015 and topped the New York Times bestseller list. Dr. Seuss's Horse Museum features an affable horse who takes a group of students on a tour of an art museum. The book marks a celebration of art and how we see the world in different eyes.
Aww.
Seuss had not finished the manuscript's artwork at the time of his death, so Random House recruited Australian illustrator and children's author Andrew Joyner to complete the job for the artwork. But the actual book, the language used, the English words, is all original from Dr. Seuss. The book also features artwork by Pablo Picasso. You know who Pablo Picasso is?
I know who Pablo Picasso is.
And Jackson Pollock.
Yep.
You know who Jackson Pollock is? He's the one who he just kind of like threw paint stains all over the place.
Abstract.
Abstract. Correct.
Right.
Correct.